Don't get screwed when you're buying a new house. Listen up for my tips on how to avoid any trouble when it comes to building a new house. My name is Heidi Knowlton. I'm a local real estate expert, and I am here to give you all the tips and tricks when it comes to buying or selling a house. Model homes are fun to look at, right? On the weekend, you're driving around, you see some model homes, lots of flags and signs pointing you in this direction. All the directional signs are telling you to come in, come look at our model home. Well, this is where the very first mistake happens, is you go into a model home without your real estate agent. I know you go into a builder's office, they have a nice, friendly rep there to help you out. They answer all your questions, but guess what? They are not on your side. They are on the builder side. They are on the seller side. When you go in to look at a model home, if you can't have your realtor there with you, at least have their name, give them their phone number. We do have our own real estate agent. They're not here with us today. So make sure that you always give out your realtor's information the very first time you go look at a model home, even if you're just browsing. Because if you later want to buy a house, they're gonna say, sorry, you didn't bring your realtor in with you the first time, so you don't get to use a realtor. And that would just be awful. I have seen horrible stories of people building a new home and they had nobody that was on their side and that was looking out for them and giving them tips and advice when it comes to building a home. So please don't skip this step. Always bring your realtor with you, or at least provide a name and a phone number. If you don't know their name, you don't know their phone number, just give them mine. So have you built a house before? Is this your first time, or is this your 5th house that you've built? I'd love to hear your experience. Put down in the comments if you had any drama happen, or anything sneaky that the builder tried to do, or maybe you had a success story and everything went great and nothing happened along the way. I'd love to hear about that too. When it comes to getting screwed on a new build, a lot of the problems happen within the contract. I love reading contracts. I know I'm probably really weird like that, but I like to review contracts. I like to find mistakes in contracts. I like to point out things that maybe you didn't notice because you don't look at contracts every day, right? Now, I'm not talking about every builder and every contract. I have not seen every contract out there, so I'm not saying that all builders are like this or that all contracts, slip in some sneaky stuff. I'm just saying these are things that I have seen come up. So make sure that you are reviewing that contract in detail, and especially make sure you have a realtor that is also reviewing the contract for you, because they're the only person that has your back when it comes to buying a home, and they can advocate for you much better than you can yourself. Let's look at a couple items on a contract that you want to look out for when you're going to build a house. I looked at 20 pages of builder contracts, and it's a lot. They're tiny, they're in fine print, they're more robust than just the normal Utah contract that we have here, which is like 6 or 7 pages. Builder contracts are 20 pages or they're 15 pages, and they're in this tiny little print. So there's so much more there to review and to be aware of. The first thing that I want to touch on is the floor plan and the actual way the home is built. So when you go look at a model, everything's beautiful, right? We love model homes. Everybody loves to look at them. But when they go to build your home, they might be little differences. They might have a window at a different spot, or they maybe took away 1 foot in the living room, or maybe they added 2 feet. The floor plans change throughout the process. If they started, construction in 2020 and they finished in 2022, there's probably going to be little changes along the way, and the seller gets to make those decisions. The builder gets to make these small changes as they need to if they see a reason to make a change on a floor plan, and they're not always going to consult you with this. Also, usually a builder, they have control over the lot and how things look on the outside. So I did have this happen to one of my buyers where the backyard was not what we thought it was going to be at all. It was completely different, and my buyer had no say-so in it. They couldn't go in and change anything. We ended up canceling that contract because of the backyard, because it was a really big issue. But it usually says in the builder contracts that the builder has control over the lot. They get to make changes. They get to place the house the way it needs to be set. They get to place the house the way it needs to be. And, setbacks they don't control. But at the end of the day, the builder calls the shots, and they can make modifications if they need to. And unfortunately, there's usually not much you can do about this. The next item that you want to check out on the contract is who's paying all the fees. There are lots of fees involved in buying a house. So who pays them all? Is it buyer paying them all? Is it seller paying them all? Are you guys splitting them? Who pays escrow fees, title fees, appraisals, the home warranty? What about an HOA dues? Who pays the transfer fees? Is the buyer paying transfer fees? Is seller paying transfer fees? What are you responsible for as a buyer when it comes to all the fees that you will encounter when you're buying a house? Okay, next up, let's talk about the earnest money. So when you go to reserve your new house that you want to have built, you have to put down earnest money, and the builder tells you how much earnest money you need to put down. Usually you just pay it one time up front. Sometimes you will have a deposit due later on or after the design center appointment has been made. So ask your builder up front about the earnest money and how much it is, and also who holds the earnest money. 9 times out of 10, the builder is going to be holding your money. So what happens if there's a dispute and you want to cancel and get your money back? Think about that. What's going to happen then if the builder has control of your money? Unfortunately, there's just no way to go around that, but just know that that's a risk ahead of time, that the builder holds your money. I haven't had any problems with that. It's just something to know in the back of your head that if there's a dispute that comes up, the builder has your earnest money. Normally when you buy a house, escrow holds your money, and that is a neutral third party. So if there's ever a dispute that comes up, there's more control there over your funds. So just keep that in mind. You also want to take a look at your contract deadlines. These are in really fine print. They're usually already pre-typed into the contract. I have been able to extend deadlines and make them a little bit longer, which is one benefit to having a realtor on your side, that they're going to look for these little items in the contract and make little changes if the builder allows, so that you have more protection. But you do want to know about your due diligence period, which usually there really isn't one when you buy a new house. You might get 5 days or maybe 7 days versus 2 weeks whenever you buy a house that's already been built. So look out for your due diligence deadline and look out for your loan deadline. This is usually about 21-ish days, which is pretty standard, but make sure you check your contract to see what it is. I have seen builder contracts that are about 7 days for your loan. So if you get into buying a house and your loan is not approved, you lose your earnest money. So you want to know up front, how long is your deadline to get your loan approved, and what is the date that your earnest money goes hard? What's that date where you lose your money if you cancel, no matter what your reason is? Make sure you ask that. Hopefully I didn't scare you too much when it comes to building a new house. Just really look at that contract, really talk to your builder about specifics, make sure everything is in writing. They can't verbally tell you anything because it holds no weight. What matters is what's in the contract. And make sure you always bring your realtor with you when you look at a new build. That is so important. I can't even stress it enough. If you found value in this video, be sure to like it, subscribe, give it a thumbs up. If you're looking for a new build, you need some advice, feel free to reach out to me. My information is down below in the description, or you can leave a comment down below, and I'll see you on the next video.